Malika, when people come to you, often they say you're the last resort. Walk us through what happens at Metropolitan Ministries.
So for those that are incarcerated, we have a culinary arts program because the food service is the easiest field to get in once you leave prison. I actually worked for him when I first came home. Um, so the culinary program, they're currently incarcerated at Northeast Reintegration Center in, can you hear me? Okay, so at Northeast Reintegration Center, the women on 30th Street in Cleveland, and we also work with the men at Grafton. And they come out to us every day to learn culinary arts, to learn life skills, like they have to go through a 3-month program with our licensed social workers to help them unpack any issues that they're dealing with, from trauma-informed care to parenting to alcohol and drug issues that they deal with, and they're able to work in a group setting once they go into the culinary field of it. So we try to help them. We try to hire them when they're going home. We have one who works on our food truck that is our supervisor of the food truck, who decided to stay in Cleveland instead of going back to her area, because in her area that's where she was getting in all the trouble and she didn't want to go back to that. So we help them with that as well, in culinary and work and try to find housing and try to advocate for the housing for them as well.
One of the things that we talk about is what the incarcerated, once they're released, can't do. Just a short list: they can't own a firearm, as we heard, can't find a job, can't get approved for loans. You told the story about adequate housing being difficult. In many cases, they cannot have custody of their own children and can't volunteer for youth activities, school events, because they can't be around kids. So the idea of expungement takes away some of that by erasing that record. Now, we saw Shanielle in the story couldn't get hers erased. Is that something you deal with, trying to help people here to get that done?
I've spoken on the governor's part and expedited part, and yeah, we try to help them with that as well. Any resources, we have a lawyer from Victims Advocacy that helps with that kind of stuff too, because a lot of the women have been battered, domestic violence. So we do try to reach out and find all the resources that we can to help them. The expungement, like I said, in Ohio is only for felony 4 and 5s. So if you have a 1, 2, and 3, you cannot get it expunged.
No, I'm good. Okay.
One of the things that Malika didn't tell you is after being in jail and then coming out, she has now gotten all of her degrees. You've got a master's, right? Isn't that amazing? Now, it is inspirational to see that, but how many people are out there like you that have turned their lives around, that we can hold up as examples to the community, that have been able to do things that make us think we should give more people that second chance?
So there are a lot of them. We have some of our alumni come back and speak to the rest of the group. We have one who owns her own restaurant in Youngstown, Ohio. We have one who has a food truck in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So there are a lot of them that are out there doing positive things. I try to mentor them and show them that they can go out and do it. Yes, within 5 years, I got my associate's, bachelor's, and my MBA. So it is able to do. It's hard work, and I know that I have to work 3 times as hard as someone who doesn't have a felony to get where I am and to show and prove that I am doing something productive in society now.
Brandon, give us a success story.
A success story. I don't know. I mean, pick one, right? We've got hundreds of graduates. Yeah. I would say one success story is a young lady who came home, right? She got incarcerated. She actually gave birth while she was incarcerated. When released, she didn't have any custody of her child, not even temporary. Not only did she work on her substance abuse, right, and recovery, overcoming it. You never overcome it completely, but every day is a battle. She did that, and then she ended up getting custody back of her child. I think we've had 4 or 5 graduates open their own restaurants, like brick and mortar. Yeah, we have quite a bit. Yeah, we have quite a bit.
Second Chance, great name, because that is what it does for people. Folks would want to know more about that. Obviously, you both have success stories, but talk to us about Second Chance and how someone here might get involved, what we can do as a community to support these people.
Volunteering. You can volunteer. money donations, clothes donations. We give clothes out, gently used or new clothes that are donated to those, so they can have some dignity when they come home instead of that blue drab sweatsuit that they send them out home in. So clothes, shoes, we have a lot of stuff that we try to help them with when they come home.
Yeah, I would say, so how many people have eaten at Edwins? A lot of people know about Edwins here? How many, are any people traveling through? Or so some people don't know like the extent of what we do things, so then you don't know where you can get involved at, right? But it's pretty vast. You know, we have the restaurant so you can eat, right? I mean, I know this is tough, okay? But you have to come out and eat and have a glass of wine. It's difficult, okay? But that's one thing you can do, obviously, right? We have housing. You know, we do free housing for men and women. So now we have, I just got a fifth building. So we have 2 apartment buildings for students. They can live for free. We have a graduate house that's $200 a month. And we just got another building for family housing, 14 units. So the idea is to continue to close the gap on these barriers. You know, when someone says they can't, well, we say we can because we're building our own village. We have a child care center. We offer free child care for anyone in our program. And someone says, well, how is that possible? Well, go buy a building. You know, you raise the money, you buy the building, flip it over, get it licensed, hire someone. We have free child care, right? We teach in juvenile corrections twice a day, 5 days a week. We reach about 90,000 inmates nationwide on tablets. And when they complete our tablet program, the Cleveland Browns fly them in anywhere across the country. So we got about 10 students from, I don't know, California, Arizona, so on and so forth. So when you say, like, what can you do? Well, that's a lot of balls in the air, right? If you're involved with children or have a teaching background, you can help teach some of those at the child care center. If you want to, you know, donate a quilt or want to get involved in the way we do housing, you can get involved with those apartments and getting them set up or turned over. We have a whole store in the basement of our, you know, we have a fitness center, library, and you know, beneath our butcher shop and bakery, and people organize those clothes, or they donate the clothes, right? There's so many different things. We have 2 gardens. If you're a gardener, I mean, please help us out. We have pretty big, you know, twice the size of this room. There's so much you can get involved in, but the most important part is doing something, right? Like, doing nothing is bad. And some people say, well, I don't feel comfortable. I don't do this. Well, then talk to your circles about how they hire or what it is that they do to help someone with a second chance. Simply by creating a dialogue, you develop this undercurrent. And sooner or later, you're the first, the second, or the fourth person who talks to them about hiring people coming out of the criminal justice system. Then maybe employers start looking at their business model a little differently. You know, you can do that at your dry cleaners, in your church, and wherever it is. But you can do something. But like, remember, doing nothing is bad. Just don't do nothing. Yeah.
We said we were going to run this City Club style. Wanted to give time for people in the audience who may have questions for Brandon or for Malika. That I'll start right there.
Coaches used to say when I was growing up,
Speak loud.
Coaches used to say when I was growing up that nothing ever happens good after midnight. And you know, sometimes it's just being in the wrong place at the wrong time.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, I think you know, to his point of nothing happens good after midnight. Well, in this business, we're working after midnight, so it's like it's one thing that keeps us busy in the restaurant business. We're always working. We're always busy, and if we're done working, we're usually pretty tired, you know. But I would agree with you. Getting someone on the track of a more powerful yes is first and foremost the most important thing. Every one of us are surrounded by temptation each day, right? You know, it could be a new lover, it could be a new drink, it could be a new this. But if you have a more powerful yes, that temptation kind of subsides. So what we try to do at Edwins is make sure that we get you on that more powerful yes fast and quick. So anything around you after midnight comes up, you say, you know what? I'm going to keep on my course. But you're absolutely right, man. Idle hands and after midnight, nothing good's happening.
Your story and the story in the film, women. We'd often think about incarcerated men coming home. What's the situation for women? Is it more difficult? In many cases, as you said, there are children involved. How many women are fighting this fight?
So I think over the country in the documentary that was out last year about some of the ladies in our program, I think it's 400 times women in the last decade or two.
Fastest growing prison population right now.
And so women are mainly the home primary givers for the kids. So when they get home, whoever has their children, they want them to have them back. And so that's the most difficulty, because if they have to go to a halfway house, they cannot take those children with them. And so trying to get their kids back, trying to establish themselves so they won't, it get overwhelming for them. So that is the main thing, because most women are the primary caregiver of children.
Other questions?
Not a question, it's more of a comment. The same thing is going on, as Brandon knows, Brandon, a friend of mine. It's very actively involved in the manufacturing sector right now. If you haven't seen what's going on in the sector partners, you know what's going on in the sector partnership. As manufacturers here in Cleveland, I own Jurgens, Lincoln Electric, Nordson. We have all joined together about 4.5 years ago on a second chance program. We have trained individuals, and we have placed over 200 plus into manufacturing environment. They get a good paying job. It's a permanent job. And for the 200 people we placed, there's not been one single day of recidivism of any single person we've placed in the manufacturing environment. So we would have placed more, but there was this thing called a pandemic on the other hand.
And And so at our organization, they do get hired in at rest. We partner with Marble Room and Lock Keepers, and they are going out to work after they finish 9 months of our program while they're incarcerated. That money is being saved until they get home, and then when they got home, they got money for apartment, car, whatever. Some of them are sending money home to their children right now for child support. I know Northeast has a partnership with Diamond Metals, where they're going out to work at Diamond Metals while they're incarcerated. This money is really helping them when they go home, so they have that to help with the resources to get home. And then we have the food truck that we partner with in a catering event that we help to fund our program. And so they are working on that too. We're going to the Forbes 30 Under 30 on Monday and Tuesday to showcase their food. We were at the Taste of the Browns for the food bank. Brandon was there as well, and we showcased the guys with their food. So they are getting the experience. It's helping them with their confidence, and they're being able to work before they're out of prison, which is really helpful, and they get hired full time once they are released.
I'm glad you mentioned Jurgens. I was out there, maybe 10, 12 years, did a story with you for WVIZ. Are there a lot of businesses that are taking the step that you have taken, that are looking at stopping recidivism, keeping people from going back into jail? How much business in Cleveland is helping?
On the manufacturing sector, we have about 10 to 12 partners that are right now.
Big companies.
Our job, these are big guys. We're a peanut compared to all those. And right next door to the food bank. And the intent is to grow this exponentially. The headquarters is headed by Magnet, is our bonding agency, and we want to grow this across the entire country. And we're doing the same thing with special needs children, by the way. We've been doing that for over 10 years.
Should have had you up here. No, that's good to know, though, and that's the kind of thing people do want to hear. Other questions? Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead. I'll go that way first.
What questions high school students have? It's just that they're concerned, they're concerned about, well, first of all, it was NACL, it's NDCL, thank you. Yep, there you go. So they have a faith and justice class, right? Listen, we do this for schools all around, not just the area, but the country, right? We there's a responsibility that comes with recognition, and we've been recognized pretty well. And so, like, their concerns are like, it's like the fear in what could happen. Do you understand? And it's like I got to kind of reverse their role and say, you need to start looking at what possibilities there are, not the fear and surrender to it. And so a lot of their questions have to do with what if, what could happen, when you work with a population that's involved in the criminal justice system. Now, we're dealing with this school. I'm not sure where NDCL is located. Yeah, it seemed a little, didn't seem very diverse, you know what I mean? I don't know how their upbringings are. I'm not going to try to judge, but people are concerned when you talk about reentry and someone who's been in the prison system, right? When we work very close to it, or you're actually involved in it, it's life. It's just a different perspective. And those are the kind of questions that you get a lot of. And some of them are I'll tell you, man, a lot of them want to start a business or work for a business that is making an impact in this world. They want to, and social justice is the hot button topic, right? So who's applying it? How are they applying it? Where can we, how can we apply it in our careers? One thing I think is very important. We're all working at this. A lot of people are working at this cause, right, to help someone with a second chance. But systemically, the shift has to come with the perception of how we're looked at. If legislation were to change, it should be changed not one collateral sanction by another, but people who have been affected by the criminal justice system should be a protected class of citizens. And then that would eliminate every prejudice in front of them. And I think that's where legislation needs to go. If you've come out of prison, you can't discriminate for any reason. See what I mean? Rather than pick away at every thousands of collateral sanctions around the state or the country. Yeah.
Jim?
Yeah, well, first thing I say, I agree. I mean, we when I looked at this site, I made sure we had 4 lines of public transportation around us. So I mean, kind of building it that way. But look, when there's a problem, there's a solution, right? And Jack, everyone else, we work hard at finding solutions. I think is the best way to put it.
Yeah, and we provide weekly bus passes for them when they come home to help them get to whatever appointments they have to go to. We partner with True Freedom Ministry, who transport the guys to our organization for the culinary program. So yeah, transportation is a big one as well.
Go ahead.
There's a comment, there's a program that started, but unfortunately took place in the middle of the pandemic called the Paradox Project, which was the churches don't use their buses Monday through Friday. And the Paradox Project was a way to utilize the church bus to take people out to work. And unfortunately, the current pandemic put a hiatus on it, but I think it's going to pick back up.
Great option. Anyone else? Yes. The film is very new, so that Wisconsin disclaimer at the end is still active. The Senate still hasn't acted there. You were talking about Ohio and expungement.
So expungement is, like I said, is for felony 4 and 5. So if you have a felony 1, 2, or 3, there isn't one. The Ohio 4 and 5 are like theft, minor.
They came out with this idea of student loan expungement for people who worked in a nonprofit. Did you hear about this? Great idea, right? How many people think qualify for this? You can't have one late payment in 10 years. You have to do this, that. It's like this expungement thing is all a bunch of baloney. It really is. I mean, they put it out there. Some people qualify, but it's almost like this false hope. And then they try to do these certificates of equality, like someone's trying to certify this person's human again. That's an insult. I mean, the whole system is just. I've gone rogue. And I said, you know what? The heck with them all. We're going to make the best chefs that there are. And you know what we're going to do? We're going to be the best chefs and leaders inside of restaurants, if not ours, others. You see what I mean? And then just form a whole new system. Oh, my gosh.
Life insurance.
Well, hold on a second. You build your own housing. That's what we're doing. What I'm just saying. But correct. But 600,000 a year. But the point is, look, you've got to find businesses and conscious people in the community and push them. I mean, what I hate to hear is people say, "Oh, this is hilarious," or not hilarious. This is horrible. This is horrible. Then it's hilarious. They go to Whole Foods and buy a sandwich and they forget about it. Like, kick yourself in the ass. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to hear people complain anymore about this if you're not getting involved in the problem. You're part of the problem. And I've just gone, I'm saying we're going to build our own village. We're going to build our own world. We're going to build our own place where people respect who we are, love where we came from, and we're going to be the best we can be. But you're right. It's a low down dirty shame what exists right now. But we can change it. That's the beautiful thing. We can change it.
So my My charge was a felony one. It was for drug trafficking. I was following behind my son's father and got in trouble with him. He didn't tell him it was his drugs. I have a felony one. It's not violent, but it's a felony one, so I can't get it expunged. The Ohio governor's pardon, expedited pardon, he has right now, but you have to be off parole, probation for 10 years before you can get it. So I had 5 years of parole. So I've been home for 8. I have 7 more years before I can qualify for that. And I've been a model citizen, haven't gotten in any trouble, going around speaking, been an advocate for everything, reentry. And so, it's a hard barrier.
So, okay, yeah. So you're. Oh, is there an age restriction in Ohio, as we saw in the film? But to drive home that point, the time you spent incarcerated, the time you spent afterwards post probation, you're looking at 29 years for drugs that weren't yours.
Yes.
I understand why Brandon's going rogue. Yeah. Any other questions? Yo, yes, sir. And I'll get you.
From the other side, I know a lot of beat patrolmen, policemen, they're under quotas by their supervisors to make certain amount of arrests a month for city income and stuff like that. I mean, it's a practical pressure that they're under to really arrest people.
Why he's going rogue. That's why he's going rogue. Because there, as you said, there are things that are horrendous that we are doing to people for not necessarily the best reasons. Go ahead.
Oh, so you can, as soon as you are released, even if you're on probation, parole, you can vote. I actually just got a letter that for jury duty.
She's not going to make that jury.
So I got to start calling in next week.
Okay. There was a hand here. So yeah, we do not. Right. Go ahead. He said it first. No. Wrong.
We raise close to $2 million. Well, it depends if there's a capital campaign, but anywhere between 1.5 to 2 million a year we're raising. That's nationwide, though. I don't know the state of the pocket in Northeast Ohio. We're a national product, so we have national, donors.
I noticed in the movie it said that this is an issue also if you're just arrested and not even convicted. Is that true?
Is that happening in Ohio?
I don't know. I mean, it depends on.
It depends, because I think even though they put you on probation, sometimes you have to go and get a number from a offender number from the prison system sometimes. But I don't know if that's here. I don't know if I'm
No,
not
if
sure
it hits the media and you're in a small town, and you say someone's arrested for this and nothing, I think people forget that there was no conviction. They just stick with the headline. Maybe in the public relations world it could be damaging, but in the background check, I don't know.
That just caught my
I'm
eye.
not sure about that.
It'll pull onto the background checks. It's just a question of whether or not the person reading it is sophisticated enough to know that you can't rely on your
There you go.
And to that point, the fourth chair up there, we were going to have a representative from the Cleveland Plain Dealer here. They last year made it, or maybe it was the year before, made a decision to stop using mugshots of people years and years and years after, because it just reinforces that stereotype. Someone who's been cleared of a crime. So they've taken that down. That's something that you won't see on Cleveland.com, you won't see in the Plain Dealer, and more places are realizing we need to treat people who've been freed as free people.
Yeah, and we just had an issue with that last year. We had a young lady who got her GED with us through Aspire, Cuyahoga County Library. She got her associate's degree with us. She works at the Marble Room. And somehow the media found out she was about to go home, and they did an expose on her. The prison wanted to pull her. She was crying. She was so upset. They called the Marble Room for them to give her a quote, and they said, "We don't care what she did. this is not her now. That her work ethic speaks for itself, and we don't want to get involved in that. And they let her go back to work. So yeah, the media can hurt you, and they did that to her.
Sorry, one more. We're working with a bunch of us are trying to get the governor to take that 10-year and move it down to 5 years on the basis that if you have 5 continuous years of work, it becomes a golden ticket, supposedly like a Willy Wonka. Here, you demonstrate you can work, you demonstrate you're paying taxes. Let's put that together and let's knock that down. And we're trying to get it tested here in Northeastern Ohio with our 200 folks that are coming out of the Second Chance program.
Well, if you need somebody to speak, I will.
Yeah, you did mention that you're working with the governor. What's his thought on?
I was speaking for that Ohio expedited pardon. That he
Oh, okay, okay. So you're not working with. Do you know where his thoughts lie? Okay, we'll have to work on that. Okay. Anyone else? I think we're close to the end of our time. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you learned something. Brandon Chrostowski, Malika Kidd.